in special environment, work on WebGL, but also the creation of XR tools, so real product, work on the so by so with headset. So I will discuss today senses. So we all have 5 basic human senses. Can anyone in the room give me, yeah, but in that case we would need to unmute. So okay, all right. So I will give you directly the 5 senses that we got. We actually, as human beings, we have 5 basic human senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. And as a quick reminder, most of those senses are usually associated to a human organ. So sense would be associated with, touch will be associated with a hand, and it allows us to touch. So for pressure, to
Hello, Priscilla? Hello, Priscilla? Oh, well, it appears Priscilla was disconnected. So, um, huh. Amy, how would you like to tell us about yourself?
I need to mute all everyone again.
Yep.
So I'm really not sure what happened. I'm just
Ah,
left the room.
good.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Okay,
can
all
hear
right.
you.
Yeah. So I've just been expelled from the presentation without notice. So I don't seem to be able to change the slide anymore. I don't seem to be able to change the slides. Jeff, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all right.
Just a minute. Yes, I can't seem to.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it. Who is that?
I can continue speaking without the slide if everyone is
Yes, please do.
yes. Okay, all right.
Oh,
So
here they are.
I just
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
I can't modify the slides, and I seem to have navigation issues as well. But
Just,
if everyone can hear me,
hmm.
I will just
Yep.
continue speaking about
Forget
the
the
senses.
slides.
Yes, and I'm in the back. I have my back on the audience, but yeah, that's fine. So we have five senses. I just discussed a bit about touch that we can use to feel vibrations, pain, feel the texture, and we also use them to interact with the world. And for example, to convey compassion to another human being. For example, if someone is sad, we will just touch their hand. We have sight, usually associated with the eyes, and we can see light and object. We have our ears, and not only it allows us to hear, and we have a really sophisticated auditory systems, but it also provide balance and equilibrium. And then we have smell, usually associated with the nose. And humans, so I don't, I don't know why I'm a bit stuck where I am, and I can't amplify my voice either.
Let me do it. Host. Priscilla. I can't seem to amplify your voice either.
Okay, all right. I feel just a bit lost in space as I speak now. But humans are able to smell 1 trillion scents. So we usually say that dogs are really a great smeller, but humans are just as good. And we have over 400 smelling receptors. The olfactory sense is actually the oldest human sense. It's the first we have as a baby. We use it for direction, not only to know where is the mother with the milk, but also if she's in the room and in which direction. And finally, we have taste, and we have the mouth, who allow us to have a gustatory sense. And we need to consider the combination of all our senses. Senses can't be taken separately. It is what we call a cross-modal interaction way of thinking. So that leads us to multisensory. As all our senses are interconnected, we explore the world simultaneously with our sense. It is a blend of sense which made us explore and understand the world. So on top of the 5 senses I've already described, we have the sense of space. So our brain understands where our body is in space. And we also have a sense of movement and the sense of the position of our limbs and muscles. For example, if you close your eyes, you can touch your nose with your finger. And we have the sense of wetness, made from temperature and texture. So what I'm trying to explain is that we only have 5 basic senses, and we have no internal receptor for any other of the sense that I've been giving. Meaning that we have no receptor. Yeah, thank you for that. We have no receptor for wetness. making it really interesting to have the idea of reproducing the sensation of wetness, which happened in an experience called mouillé. The idea that we don't perceive one sense at the time, but we blend them, makes it really interesting for. Are you? Can you still hear me? Yeah. So as we have no wetness receptor, it is only the temperature and the hardness of a surface which will assist us to define, sense, and feel a surface.
Um,
So, for
pardon me a moment,
example,
Priscilla.
it's
Can everyone hear Priscilla?
yes,
Can you all hear? Yes? Okay,
yes,
Yes,
great.
I can
I
hear
can
you
hear her.
really, really slightly.
Super. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please continue.
Okay, all right, perfect. So when we want to feel a surface in a virtual space, it's only the temperature and the hardness of the surface who will assist us to define what it is. Meaning that we can differentiate an ice cube from a cold bottle of plastic on the wetness only by our perception, which makes them reproducible in a virtual environment. The same way, we use sense to modify perception and to enhance perception. The olfactory sense is directly connected to our emotion, our memories, and it drives behavior. We all have experiences in the past where we are smelling something on the street or at home, and it triggers that special memory. A really famous example in literature is the Proust Madeleine. So Madeleine is a little cake, like a light spongy cake, which evoke to the writer really powerful memories of event in the past. And when we are building multisensory experiences in VR, we need to be aware that we are using all the senses, and until now, the visual and the audio have been used, but have been used predominantly, and the sense of smell has been a bit not explored as much. Inside multisensory experience, what we need to remember and be aware is the principle of sensory dominance. We need to be aware of the right balance between the senses. We all had that experience of watching a movie with a really bad lip synchronization, and the visual will attract our attention, and it's usually not a really pleasant experience. The same way, recently before COVID, went for a theater experience where we had a really strong lighting, making the play really unbalanced and really unpleasant. I actually left that day with a headache. As I am really interested in storytelling and how to engage the user, have been really interested in exploring how to create a pleasant sensation, but also how to create really unpleasant experience in virtual reality. Creating a bad smell inside VR is really interesting. But knowing as well that creating or adding more senses can delight the user. At OV Square, we are currently working on an experience where we have visual and audio, but also smell and taste. We call it gastronomy entertainment. And when we have the right balance, using all the senses actually enhance the experience. It's not as well known, but for example, having a high sound, higher pitch sound, would add sweetness to a dish. It's called gustosonic. It's an idea that using audio actually enhance the taste. We can enhance our taste with sounds. We can also increase the engagement as a user and transform a story and making it even more engaging with by using temperature, but also maybe wind. But olfactory sense is definitely a good exploration and experimentation tool.
Priscilla, do you see your
Yes?
slides up? Do you see your slides now?
No, I can't. I can only see the first one. I'm actually really stuck.
Oh, okay. I have your slides up, but anyway. Oh, just finish what you were saying.
Yes, I mean it's it's actually the end of the presentation. What we need to remember is that we can really hack the brain to transform a virtual reality experience truly memorable using all the senses and not only the visual and the audio as it is currently done.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Priscilla. That was really interesting. Um, you're getting applause from the audience.
Yes, I'm stuck. I will actually leave and come back
Okay.
to enjoy it much better.
Okay.
Yeah, see you very
We'll
soon.
we'll see you in a moment. Thank you.
See you in a moment.
Okay. Well, Amy has dropped out and has been unable to reconnect. So that's why we usually have two speakers for our events, because something sometimes happens. So when Priscilla comes back, we're going to have an open question time where you can ask her anything. And if it's something she can't answer, we'll let her punt it to me or Jeff or open it to the audience. We'll give her a minute to come in. Can I see it? Yeah, yeah.
Go get your
Cool.
some drinks, guys.
Yes, exactly.
Some popcorn, some concessions.
Some virtual mana. How many of you are new to Boston VR?
This is my first time ever attending something
Excellent.
like this.
Excellent. Did you hear about it through AltSpace or through meetup.com?
I saw it on the featured page, and when I read the description, it looked very interesting. So I was like, hey,
Excellent.
let me go ahead and see what this is about. Happy I did.
Excellent. Good. Yeah, Priscilla has done a lot of stuff. She's hacked together some pretty interesting XR over the years, and lived all over Australia and and in Europe and in France. And it's
Hi,
kind
Jeff.
of cool. Hey,
I'm
how you
back.
doing? I was just talking
Yeah,
about
I'm
you.
good. And I can actually amplify my voice now. Woohoo!
Good, good. Yeah, I was just saying it's great that we can have people join us from Australia. you know, there's no way we could afford to fly you out to Boston pre-COVID.
Yeah, it's great to have me. I'm really happy to be in the US with you.
Great. Okay, so now it's question time. As I told them, Amy was disconnected and has been unable to rejoin us. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so it's just you. Um, so the audience will ask you questions, and if it's and you have the option of throwing that over to me or to Jeff or elsewhere. But we're here for you. So
Yes,
fire away,
great. Go for
folks.
Yeah.
Nobody. So with I guess I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So with the immersive reality concept, how would exactly would we like? Has it already been started? Like what you're saying with the smell and taste. Is any of this like how does that work, really?
So we are it's really fascinating and interesting because we are exploring those spaces. For taste is just how it is. What is interesting is that we can recreate reality, and we can play with the senses and hack the brain. So, for example, when we eat something, usually we can see what we are eating, which make it really easy for us to know and associate the taste with what we are seeing. But for example, if you have a VR headset and you're eating a vegetable in real life, but you are smelling barbecue meat, your brain will think that you're actually eating some meat when you are actually eating vegetables.
It's like with like Skittles are all the same flavor, but the different colors sometimes give people a different perception of flavors. You know what I mean? So I guess it's kind of like
Yeah, yes, I've been told that, but I can really feel, I can really taste different
yeah, that's the option. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
yeah, with Skittle. Yeah, yeah. So the idea is that the reality is on the reality we live on an everyday basis seems to be real for us because we are experiencing it with all our senses. And if we want to deeper the engagement inside a virtual reality experience, actually using all the senses assist.
Yeah, so I think haptic
Or
sensors
we
on the
can hack to play with the brain to make us think we are actually experiencing something that we are not, and it's what's happening with the sensation of wetness, because how great it would be to provide the sensation of having a shower when we actually
swimming.
not. So yeah. Does
Yeah,
that answer your
cool.
question?
Yeah, it gives
Yeah.
me a broader understanding of it for sure. I think haptic sensors is something that VR should come with too. Because like for example, I have these headphones that I game with, and it's very immersive when I'm in this game and like it's vibrating. You know what I mean? It gives me like a more feeling of actually being there. So like I think along with the smell and what you were saying, like haptic sensors on VRs would make it even more immersive for people. You know?
Yeah.
See VR crossing over with something like Second Life, because if you've ever spent any time in Second Life, it's extremely immersive. So do you see VR going that route as well, to making that even more immersive in its reality that it already has?
So as I said in I'm hearing some peripheric noises. Yeah, it's better now. I'm mainly working with engineering, and so what we do is that we don't specifically try to reproduce life. I don't think that there's an interest of like in the movie Ready Player One, to completely reproduce the existing life. Life is life, and creating virtual environment are great if we decide to use them for a reason. And that reason could be to connect with others, like in a game, but also just to use the function for something really specific, like for example, creating a collaborative tool for everyone to work in the same virtual environment. But I don't know if we have an interest, if we as humans are interested in really reproducing life as it is in that specific game. Does that answer your question?
That does. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Yes. So what are the potential, dangers of recreating those sensations in a VR set? I just want to know if you guys discussed that or something that you guys have.
Yeah, I mean, creating experience in augmented reality or in virtual reality is just like any other tech tool. It's just a tool, so we can use them for good or for bad. We can decide to create an experience who would heal or would foster collaboration, or we could decide to create an experience who would where people would kill each other. And it's independent from the tool itself. It really depends on how, as human, we want to use the tool and how we want to progress in our humanity. So tech is not as involved in the process. It's a society choice, I think.
Because my thought was right. You create the sensation of like spiders crawling across your skin, just like you can create the sensation of yourself being submersed in water, like you saying taking a shower, with certain phobias, that could really cause a lot of distress on people. I don't know, just a thought. I don't know.
Yeah, so it can create a distress experience if you want to create a distressing experience, but using the spider scrolling on your skin, it could be as well a great tool to create a psychotherapy treatment for people sensitive or have different phobia. Instead of being confronting in real life as a spider that they fear, to be little by little introduced to spiders, and for them to learn to domesticate their fear. So it could be both ways. It could be used for. Would you like to add anything, Jeff?
Yes, phobia treatment research goes back more than 20 years, 25 years. If you go to medvr.io, you should be able to get to Skip Rizzo's talk, Rizzo.
Yes.
See the recording for that. He mentions phobia treatments.
Okay, thank you for answering my questions.
Oh, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Given that we can fool the brain
Yes.
with the VR
Huh? Yes.
and
Yes.
smell and taste. Yeah. does that mean that do you see a future in which we would maybe be eating healthier, more vegetarian options and just smelling meat, as actually a widespread way of dealing with climate warming and all that kind of stuff?
I never thought about that. I think that reality needs to be what it is, and that we need to make our own decision on what we are willing to eat or not to eat. There's possibility, and I enjoy exploring possibilities and consider how the future could be. Yeah, but to push to the extent of thinking that we would be vegetarian, it means that we would have the idea of considering animal pain, and I think that those considerations are a bit outside of the consideration of what we can do with the tool. It's more a question of the mentality and what we want to do as a society. It's the same as if we want to create a terrible, scary experience, or if we want to use the tool for good. I hope we will be willing as a society. We will be willing to use virtual reality or any kind of tech tool for good of humanity.
If there's more questions, if you could hit the raise hand button, which you should all have, and you'll get a little hand going up like this, then we'll be able to amplify your voice a little bit easier. All right, we have a question from Yannick. You have the megaphone. You just accept it. Go ahead.
I was real quick question, just based off of some of the last questions that have been asked. And I apologize if you touched on this earlier. I know that haptics is a very there's a lot of interest and funding and research going into haptics right now. But you talked on all other, senses and perceptions, and it sounds like there's a lot of interest, at least in the questions, as to, the possibilities for those. So I'm wondering if there's a lot of outside interest in that, and if so, like from, companies, or is it research based at the moment? And if there is, kind of what the state of that research, kind of where all of that is right now.
So for haptics, we always need to connect on one way. There's scientific research, and on the other way, what we would or could do with those research. And sometimes there's a bit of a disconnect. So on the scientific part, we can see companies creating exoskeleton. So we are actually in VR, we can use controller to grab an object, to throw, to break, to interact with each other, to move our hands. And if we want to start feeling a bit more, there's some tools to be able to feel in details the texture of the real environment or from any object. We can feel the sensation as well in our hands in much more details. But on the other side, we need to understand how we could use all this technology on our everyday basis, and if we need them.
And so I have some specific companies that I might suggest looking into. One of the leaders is a company called Haptx, HAPTX, and I've not yet gotten to try it. They don't appear everywhere. We haven't yet had them in our meetup. and it'll be a long time maybe before we get to do a meetup in person, which is what you really need to try this stuff. But they are kind of recognized as the leaders in terms of the fidelity of a haptic experience. And one of the other interesting things is Priscilla mentioned playing back textures. They're also looking into recording textures. So not only can they simulate the nerves in your hand and your body to feel these sensations, they can also record what different surfaces feel like and then play those back, which is a pretty amazing capability. Their technology uses microfluidics and magnetic tracking, and right now they're really selling into the enterprise and business space. So I think it'll be a while before we'll see a lot of more products coming from them for the consumer. But at our next meetup, we are hoping to feature tactical haptics, and they're working on a track controller with built-in haptics that is pretty exciting. So please join us in September for that. So we have another question, and I'm sorry if there's a lot of noise from my mic. I'm hearing that. I'm sorry. So D Wagainer, or go ahead.
Oh, actually.
Jeff, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to add to it. There have been haptic devices around for a long time, and they're definitely useful. The problem is that the tip of your finger can feel objects 1,000 times smaller than the width of a human hair in textures. When I remember a surgeon telling me that she feels tremendous information from the tip of her scalpel in the vibrations coming up the handle of the scalpel. And that tells her what kind of tissue she's cutting. So haptic devices aren't going to simulate that anytime soon. Nonetheless, they can be useful. Anyway, sorry, next question.
Dave Ganner, you're up.
So, with all these advancements in VR, do you think I could actually shove my dick in my own ass? Is that possible?
Entirely possible, probably not appropriate here. Jose, you're up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Oh, perfect. Something about haptics. Even though it might not be possible to simulate a scalpel with using a glove, it is possible to have a scalpel-shaped object, and it should be easier. But again, the resolution of the information might be a bit harder. But basically, anything that's like a tool that you hold on to, you just have to do a fixed degree of freedom, like motor type system. It doesn't have to be a glove necessarily, right?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, Priscilla.
So the question is how we would create a sharper object? Or...
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. Oh, no, it was just a comment on the
Sorry. Repeat again.
Sorry.
Jose?
Yes.
Oh, it was just
Could you
a
repeat your
comment
question?
on. It was just a comment on that. Even though our hands have a bunch of sensors like very densely connected, if you were to like try to chop down a tree with an axe, you just may have to make an axe-type controller that has a force feedback and a kind of a robot with an arm on the other end that moves as per your movement and somehow transmit the information back, or have it virtually. That doesn't have. You don't have to get to the precise resolution of the hand itself, but the fine vibrations are probably more kind of the harder part. For a lot of that, really, you could use sound, kind of. Oh. This person's a troll. Or sorry, maybe forgot. Oh, sorry. Scratch that. Yeah, that was just a comment. Sorry.
Yes, thanks for your comment.
And
Am I next?
Kieran, you have the mic.
Okay. I was going to add to what he was
What?
talking about, and this is just going to be kind of a blast from the past, just kind of a comment. I had attended 4SIGGRAPHs in the 90s, and I went to, I think it was 95 or 96, and somebody had a booth set up, and they had like this little pen hooked up to like a little robot arm, and they had a mirror aimed with the pin underneath it, and a monitor aimed at the mirror, and so you could see the thing you're interacting with behind the mirror, and they had created a special haptic version of OpenGL, and it, like when you had a texture, it would go zit, like if it was just like a little stripe texture, you could go along the edge of the box and go zit, and then you could like pick the box, and it actually had like mass and stuff, and you could inertia and stuff, you could push against it, and that was like, that has been around, I guess, for 25 years or so. And I don't know if they've done other stuff, but it was so impressive to me at the time.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I'm actually not sure exactly what's happening in that specific space. Jeff, do you have any information on that?
Yes, Kiernan, I was at SIGGRAPH in 93 and 98, and I saw a version
I
of
just
what you
missed
were.
you.
Oh, yeah.
I got 95, 96, 97. I skipped 98, and then it did 2000.
Yeah, the first SIGGRAPH I went to blew my mind. It was like I had to walk out just to stop seeing all the graphics. But anyway, I saw what you were talking about, the little armature, but the
Yeah.
version I saw, there was an invisible teapot, and you were holding a pen, and you could trace the outlines of this invisible teapot. Now,
Wow.
that very same device is used where I work at Children's Hospital by the engineer at the desk next to me, except we're all working at home now because of COVID, but and he uses it for his 3D modeling software as essentially a 3D tool for building shapes. And there's a company, I think it's something really generic like VR Surgical, and they're using a device exactly like the one you saw for simulating spinal surgery. And there, the haptics for working on bones are not delicate at all. I mean, they're using big saws and huge hammers and things.
Is it like much bigger, and you're like doing it rather than just a pen, you're doing it with bigger tools or something like that?
It's actually, the physical device is the same size, but the virtual tools look bigger in the VR. So it's really
so you're
pretty
looking
cool.
in VR, you're not looking in a monitor.
Exactly. And you're holding these two rods, and in VR, well, you can make the rod any length you want or put any tool at the end of it virtually. It's very neat. I'll try to dig up the website for you if you send me a friend request.
I remember, who's it, Jason Lanier, the guy
Yep.
and he was saying that they did like a little bit of research, and they noticed that if they just gave people access to some controls, they could put them in any character, and somehow their brain would come to the ability to where you could control the individual legs. Say you were a lobster, or I mean a crab, you could control your legs individually. You could get past the interface to like actually control the character.
Yes, there have been decades of scientific research showing that when you put someone in a virtual body that is not like their body, their brain adapts to it with bizarre speed and accuracy. We can give you arms that are incredibly long, or make you a different race, a different gender, a different critter, and people are freakishly adaptive. that way. Sorry. Thank you, Karen. That
Sure, no
really
problem.
got us going.
If there's other questions, please hit the raise hand button, and we'll give you the mic.
So Jeff? Jeff?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think that
Yes, here I am.
I lost my I lost the navigation on my avatar again, so I
Okay.
may rejoin just in a minute.
Okay.
See you soon.
Okay. All right. Believe it or not, Amy Peck is still trying to get in. Any other random questions or comments? We can sort of turn this into an open mic night. We got, let's see. Jose, have you been waiting for 9 minutes?
No, I have not.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
All right.
Hakan has just raised his hand. Go ahead, Hakan.
Yeah.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Hey, hi.
This is awesome. It's been really tough to get in though. Like I had to reset the headset 3 times and all the elements. But in any case, I think this is my first time joining you in this setting. This is very exciting. So thanks for having us.
Thank you. I guess my feedback is that last time we held an event here, it went a lot more smoothly. We did have some hiccups with the slides, but there was a good 10 or 15 minutes at the beginning where I just could not get in. And when I did get in, I didn't have the host tools, or the frame rate was just so slow, it was unusable. So it's been a pretty tough night here in Altspace. I know they've done a lot of updates recently, so maybe that's part of the problem. But we'll have to think about if we want to try and do this again for next time, because it was pretty rough tonight. And I apologize for all the technical difficulties we had.
Yeah, we had a pretty good experience in Frame VR. The problem with that is they have a 15-person limit.
Yes, they're working on it.
Yeah,
So we
good.
should have more people in Frame in a few weeks.
Okay. Well, next month, August 31st, Julie Lemoyne will be hosting us in her virtual world that she built on top of ScienceSpace. So maybe that will be wonderful. Let's see. I can't say her name. DeWenger. It shows you with an audience hand wave from 13 minutes ago.
Yeah, he was the one that had the question a little while ago about haptics.
Oh, yeah.
That I dismissed.
Oh, yes.
It was a valid question. It was a valid question. I mean, I think I said, yes, it's probably possible, but probably not appropriate here. So I thought that was a good response.
Well, yeah, follow your dream, you know.
There'll be another meetup where those kind of questions are appropriate, I think.
All right, good. Well,
so Hakan, do you still have a question?
Oh yeah, no, he seems to. Looks like he put his headset down. he thanked us. All right, folks. Any other questions, or shall we just mingle? All right.
Let's just mingle. And there might be a little spot out here outside, or we could just stay here.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to be around for the next hour or so.
The stage is open too. Come on up.
Is this talk going to be on YouTube or someplace? Because I confess I went to the other XR event, the Atlanta one, and actually got to meet some nice people over there, and then I came back. So
I guess to be honest on that one, I don't know if you'd want to watch the recording. I couldn't get in for most of the beginning part of it, but it was pretty rough from a technical perspective here on Altspace. We had a bad night.
okay.
We have been trying to record. They don't have like any sort of built-in casting or recording capability in Altspace. So we do have a volunteer. I don't know, Jacob, are you here anywhere? We do have a volunteer that was, doing his best to try and get it recorded, but tonight it was all we could do just to get the event off the ground.
Well, I know for a fact that you can use if you have an Oculus Quest, you can use Live and put it on your Facebook, and then you could probably transfer it over that way.
Yeah.
I've been doing quite a bit of lives. The only problem is the Facebook, the video resolution they use is kind of low. So,
there's some
but
platforms
it
that do
captures
that
the
well, like
audio.
VR chat.
And, yeah, I don't know if it captures the audio inside the app, but I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah. So
I was once on
Can
VR
Quest
chat.
and
They had
Go
a
be in here?
talk show. Was that?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, Quest and Go works. I'm recording right now with Open Studio. I started it about 20 minutes ago, and I think it's working. In the past, it worked pretty well. We just didn't have enough time to really set it up. Jacob has been streaming to YouTube.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Sorry, getting a. All right. So, yeah, if let's see, David, are you still in the room? Okay. Well, we'll see.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great.
I'm here.
Yeah. Let's just look and see what we have, and if we've got anything, any recording that's decent, we'll post it. We'll post it to the event page on meetup.com.
Yeah, I think I have some of the main parts of the event. I dropped out in the middle for a few minutes, but I think I got most of it.
Yeah, a bit, and I've got some of the Q&A, so a little creative editing. We'll have something. All right. Let's see.
So I guess I'd like to ask, does anyone else have experiences on other platforms, especially ones that support screen sharing, so people can do presentations that have gone smoother than what we had here tonight?
Was anyone here in the iLearn Verbella event?
Yeah, I was there.
So
No,
they're kind of, it definitely has its limitations, but I will say it was relatively stable, well, at least through my experience, and you can do screen sharing. I think I can talk with John, who's the head of the Immersive Learning Research Network, and probably get us testing in that space. It's normally like a very expensive thing, but they have it for the year, so we can, and they can host hundreds of people at once, so there's no limit there.
Oh,
The thing is, Altspace should be really scalable. Microsoft did their Dev Days conference in here, and they had, I don't know if it was hundreds or thousands, but enough that you couldn't fit them all in one room, and it scales so that it will make copies of the room you're in, and so everyone thinks they're in the same room with the presenters, but really they're each in their own, separate instances of the room. So they designed this thing for scalability. I just don't know why we had some problems.
The other issues that we
It
ran
may be
into
the
is
case-
no Mac access.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
Are they
Really huge
are they using their own servers, or are they using say a cloud server?
Well, they got acquired by Microsoft, so my guess is that this whole thing is running on Azure.
Is that a cloud server
don't know.
type thing?
Yeah, that's Microsoft's, cloud service.
Okay, so it should scale up according to demand.
And
Yeah.
I've seen it happen. I've been at events. I've been at some concerts and things here where there's hundreds or maybe even thousands of people. And again, they're not all together in the same space. They're in copies of the same space, so each space is there with the presenter live. It's just you're not interacting with all those people at the same time. This is a small subset of them.
I also have another question. Do you know if anybody is doing like cloud servers that are co-location facilities across America, and then they can distribute it out based on the members, and then like try to do something like that, try to fix the latency or something?
I mean, do you mean for rendering the video out, or just for making the connection?
Well, for like mixing the audio, because there usually is people from all over the country, and if you could get people who are like in clusters or whatever, you could get them together and then maybe reduce some of the latency in the mixing, maybe so that they could do karaoke or something, or have a band that's together, but they're nearby, kind of in the same area, and then they could have the audio sent to all space, and so they wouldn't have to be in the same room, but their latency would be lower because they're kind of in the approximate same location and stuff. So
I'm reminded of a platform called RiffMax Theater. Anyone heard of that? So this was early on one. It was probably 5 or 6 years ago now that this thing was coming out. And they were testing it, and they did a happy birthday test where it was someone's birthday. And everyone in there started all singing happy birthday together, and the whole thing crashed or something. So yeah, I think we're still in early days for this stuff. I don't know if I'll say, maybe they just had a bad night tonight, and we got on a bad server or something like that. But it was definitely rough there from about 7 till 7:20. It was really tough. I couldn't get in most of the time.
Another thing is I went to school at UNM, University of New Mexico, and I had a friend whose name was Brendan Underwood, and he was like the half brother of Justin Frankel, I think it is, the guy that started Winamp. And they came up, and I think they came up with Nudella, and they also had they had created a program that you could have one guy that would start recording, and then they could send it to another guy, and he would add on top of that to another guy, and then you could play together, but you had like the drummer start here, and then the bassist, and then the guitarist, and then the vocals come in, and you could still record live, but there wouldn't be like much of a there would be a latency issue, but it wouldn't get in the way because you could still record together. It's just that you couldn't hear each other in real time. But
right.
Cool. We had some smaller meetings in Frame VR, and screen sharing was incredibly easy and super robust. Being able to edit the world was really easy. The headset support wasn't 100% there, but it's really their size limit that keeps them from being my platform of choice. Oh, they have an echo problem too.
Yeah, and we had various times that where certain people couldn't hear one another. So it's not like they were muted. It was like their particular connection didn't work for one other particular person in the group. So there's a lot of weird problems like that. And I think the VR experience was pretty far off the mark, in my opinion. And most people, once they got in it, didn't really stay in VR just because it didn't work so well.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, last time we did an event here in Allspace, like I said, we had some little hiccups.
It was great.
But mostly it went pretty smoothly. And everyone had a good time. Tonight was just rough.
It was rough. Yeah, but we've had some good questions here, some interesting conversation, and Priscilla, you did great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. I was stuck in space, but if you could hear me, yeah,
your
That's
voice
great to
carried
know.
it. That's cool.
And yeah, and thank you for having me, for inviting me for this meetup to share a bit more on perception and senses. Um, as creator, I'm really keen to see others using different tool in VR and getting maybe inspired to also use smell and scent in their own experience. It's definitely the next stage, the next limit. It's where I see the industry going. We have the visual, we have the audio, and now we need just smell.
Yeah, smells a big deal. Um, whenever I cook something in the kitchen, particularly if it's like a curry and it takes a while, my nose becomes used to the smell, so I don't really smell it anymore. So I can't fully appreciate eating it until I leave the room for at least 10 minutes. Then I come back and then I can really taste it
Yeah,
properly
yeah,
because of smell.
yeah. After a while, when we smell, we start to be numb. It's the same if we go in a perfume shop and we start smelling 5 or 6 different perfumes. After that, it's really difficult to continue browsing the scents because we can't anymore. It's like we have an overdose of smell. Last month, we have created a story to smell that we have sendcasted. So we have broadcasted online a story, a smelling story in about 10 different locations around the world. And when I was creating that experience, it happens to me a few times that I couldn't smell anything. I had to, leave the room, do something else, and come back. Just the mix of smell was too overwhelming.
I think I may have seen some research, and forgive me if it's already been talked about tonight, about how smells can help your brain encode memories. So, in other words, if
Yeah.
you were to do a VR experience with and without smell, you can actually help your brain to encode that memory a lot more solidly with smells.
Yeah, definitely. Smell is directly connected to our memories and emotion, and it also drives behaviors. So it means that if you want someone to buy some product, you can definitely use the smell. It's directly connected to the unconscious mind, which drive 95% of our purchasing behavior. So if you control smell, you can effectively learn more easily because your brain will connect the smell to the experience. But you can also, boost your cell, and it's really fascinating. It's a fascinating space. But yeah, it works for training. It's really efficient for training.
Yes. Virtual reality was literally invented for training. And back in the 70s or 70 years ago, that's the 50s with the flight simulators. And it works. Um, it really works. It's being adopted in a range of industries, from Walmart to the military to Children's Hospital, where I work, um, and and in education. So, all right, guys. Um,
call it a night and maybe give one
Yep.
final round of applause to our presenter?
Yes.
Cheers.
Yes.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And thanks everyone for coming. Sorry again for technical difficulties, and join us next month for Julie's presentation in Sciencebase, and then after that the practical haptics presentation I mentioned in September. And you can find all the details on our meetup page and bostonvr.org. Thanks everybody for coming.
All right.
Cheers.
All right. Take care. You guys are welcome to hang out in this room if you want to. I'm leaving. I'm good.
I think it's
All
open
right.
until 3:44 in the morning, so enjoy.
Yes. Take care. Priscilla, thank you again. It's been an honor.
Yes, thank you for inviting me, Jeff. And yeah, we had a bit of a few difficulties, but it's how it happens. Yeah, next time will be different, and we won't have all these difficulties. Hope you learn one thing of two, and yeah, speak with you next time.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you have
Bye.
more questions, I'm happy for everyone to contact me on LinkedIn and ask their questions.
Exactly. All right. Take care.
Bye.
That's BS. Right? Whatever. Dr. Pill. Tell me what's wrong. What the hell?
the hell do you? Oh, what the hell? Oh, oh, my nails. How the hell? Oops, it looks like this space is running too many browsers. CDK app server video players. Look what it says. Download. I'm trying to find them. Oh, no, no, no. Oh. Oh, my nails. Hi. Hello. I'm in Holland. I think it's this way. Twitch. Twitch. This is what was it? And it's my game, man. And it's my game. That's what I do when I'm in my phone. I'll tell you, and I know hunger. Above my knees. Can you say hi? There's one over there. Hi. Oh my god, he's coming up. Hello. Oh, he's so scary. No, he's over there. He keeps zooming a bit, he keeps zooming a bit. He's looking at me, looking at me. What? How's he doing? Oh, he's looking at me, he keeps looking at me, he keeps looking at me, look. He went into my eyes. Went into my eyes. Heard it. I can do a bubble thing where nobody can stand next to you. Please do that. He went right.
Because people actually like get anxiety because of that. Okay, wait, let me stand next to him. It's the blue guy, the blue guy. Oh. Hello there, mate. Mate. I think you're on mute. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Bạn này is đây.
Hello.
Bạn này is đây. 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 Oh, I can dance. Bạn này is đây. Bạn này is đây. Bạn này is đây. Are you Barbs? Hello.
Hello.
Are you a Barbs?
I'm human.
You're not a Barbs. This is what I do when I'm.
You okay?
What?
Hmm.
Hello.
Hello. Wait.
Hello. Is anyone in this room a Barbs? Barbs. Barbs.
What are the barbs?
You don't know what a barbs is? Nick and Ashford? I'm done with these. Bye, say hello, 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 hello. I'm here. Wait, I'm trying to move my hair. Hello. Oh wait, it went away. Is that get my hair? Yeah, that's under my ponytail. Yeah. Or above that. Yeah. Yeah. Body's back in my arms. Where's the wee remote? Wait, see these all these hand movements? Can you see what I'm doing? Yes. It's 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning.
Hello.
2 in the hello.
Yeah. Can you turn it up? Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
And what's this about?
Hey.
This is about.
Ballet. Ballet. Ballet.
Hello.
Let's just not sound bad. Then like.
Oh, I
Yes,
guess the
yes, I am
event's
ill.
over.
Oh, salute on the who's what? Someone's whispering in my ear, sir. All of y'all are looking at me.
Ah, okay.
What's up? Oh, I'm gonna do my hair.
Yeah, you can go in a minute after this. Hi. How are you, mate? You good? Yeah, he can't talk.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, I'll roll to another game because nobody's there. Okay, there's 5 people in the street.
Hmm.
Jacob. 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 Hi, Jacob. That's my name. Where did you take my? That's my name.